Hi everyone, welcome to Harsha Trainings. Myself Harsha, and this is a continuation videos of the last 3 videos which we have made about the 33 technical terms that one should be knowing before they get into software industry. And knowing about these 33 technical terms is going to help you a lot to understand the better about the process that is being followed in the real-time projects in IT industry, and also this is going to help you understand about the different technical terms like minutes of meeting, team meetings, stand-up calls, scrum meetings. Like this, there are so many technical terms that you are going to know about. And if you are a new user to our channel, we request you to subscribe to the channel if you like the videos, content and all. And before you watch this video, there are 3 other videos, and this is the 4th video in the series of discussion about this 33 technical terms which you come across in the real world projects. And now in the previous videos, we have covered about the first 10 technical terms, previous 2 videos. Like we covered about client, project manager and different roles in the project, onshore, offshore model, what is onshore team, what is offshore team, and business analyst, agile and scrum methodologies, and most importantly, we discussed about JIRA tool. This is going to help anyone who doesn't have experience in IT to know clearly about how do you get the requirements and where the requirements will get posted and how to track the requirements. All that has been covered in the chapter where we have discussed about JIRA tool. And after that, related to this, user stories and story points, efforts and estimation, up to the estimation part, efforts and estimation, we have discussed in the past videos. And now today we are going to look at discussing about backlogs. From backlogs onwards, we are going to talk about up to maximum, we'll try to cover the 20th topic. So starting from backlogs onwards, we are going to cover up to minutes of meeting. So that is going to give you some better information and idea about all these technical terms related to backlogs, time log, requirement walkthrough, and like this there are so many other technical terms that we can come across. And we go one by one each of these. Like what is the first one called as backlogs? And this is related to, the backlogs term is related to the requirements which we have discussed using JIRA tool, like user stories point. See, user stories I have told in the last session, where we discussed about how does the user story looks like and where we post the user, where business analyst is going to post the user stories and all. So if you want to understand backlogs, you must have to know about user stories. For that you have to watch the previous video. So now coming to the backlogs. See, for any time when the business is going to write the requirement, the business analyst, when they are going to write the requirements in the JIRA tool as user stories and all, they also write not only the present requirements, they also write about the future requirements that we may get in the future. So those future business requirements, they are going to write under the section of backlogs. In the JIRA tool, there will be a section called backlogs. In the backlog section, they'll be writing some of the future requirements that may come in the near future. Those are called as backlogs. And now the next technical term that we are going to discuss about is said to be time log. What is time log? Let's say for example, so you are going to take one business requirement, one user story from JIRA tool, and you are working on the user story. Let's say for example, for this user story, the time that is being given is 8 hours. So within 8 hours, you have to finish this particular user story. And now you started working on this user story, and let's say 4 hours you have worked today, and by 4 hours, your office timing is over. So now whenever your business analyst is going to track this user requirement, anyone started this working on this user requirement, how long they have spent on this user requirement, they should know about it. So for that reason, there is one option in JIRA tool to make an entry of how many hours that a developer has spent working on the respective user stories or the business requirement in the JIRA tool. So that is called logging our time that we have spent working on a user story and its story points. So that is called as time log, means the time that you are going to spend working on business requirements. Today you have worked on 4 hours, so you are going to open your JIRA tool and you are going to go to the user stories, and there you are going to log your time as 4 hours. When business analyst is going to look at this time log, they'll understand that okay, some user, Harsha is the user developer who is working on this particular user story, and he has spent already 4 hours. And also you can write some comments. Maybe if you have stopped working on this requirement, dependency with some other teams. You can write, I am waiting on dependency with database team. They have to create one table so that further I can code this, work on this user story. Like that, there are some comment sections also available. And in the specifically in the time log part, you are going to write about how many hours of time that you have spent working on this particular business user requirement. So business analysts will be able to easily understand when they are tracking this particular requirements. Okay, so this is called as time log. And next level, as the next one, requirement walkthrough. Okay, all these are related. Whatever we are discussing, JIRA tool, user stories, story point, backlogs, time logs, requirement walkthrough, all these are related to the same content. Okay, like user stories content. See, when a business requirement is being assigned to you, see, you are a developer. A developer knows more about the technicals as well as the functionality of the application. Whereas business analyst is the one, the business analyst is going to have only the idea about functional processing of the business application. They don't know about any technology. So coming to the developers knows about the technology plus business functionality of the application, whereas business analyst is going to know only about the business functionality of the application. But business analyst is going to have far better knowledge, in many cases far better knowledge than developers with respect to functionalities of the business application. Developers may not be knowing about all the functionalities that are available in the business application because they have to focus on two things, technical plus functional. Suppose you are a developer, you are working on a project since past 5 to 6 years. There may be chance you know in and out everything in your application. Chances are there, but mostly developers do not know about complete functionalities of the application, but business analysts do know about all this. See, whenever a business requirement is being assigned to a developer, whenever business requirements are being assigned to developer, then developers are going to work on the business requirement. So how do you work on the business requirement? First, you have to understand the business requirement, right? So this particular business requirement walkthrough will be given, meaning that business analyst is going to conduct a screen sharing session, like joining by Zoom meetings or Microsoft Teams meetings, or maybe some other Cisco Teams meetings and all. They are going to give a walkthrough of the business requirement. So what is this business requirement? Functionally, what is it all about? They are going to show in the application. So this is the what we are expecting, like this, that and all. They may explain you going through the live application. So business analyst is going to perform this task, but this is not mandatory. This has to be done in all and all the cases. In some cases, when business analyst is going to have clear idea about it, a requirement walkthrough can be done by the business analyst. And once the requirement walkthrough has been done, a developer is going to start working on the business requirement with his understandings to start building the business application functionalities and all. So now coming to the next term called sprint. So I have already explained about what is a sprint in the past. See, sprint is something like I already told. You can go back to the previous videos and watch related to this, where, so if your project is 12 months project, if you have a project which is of 12 months, okay, let's say for example 12 months, imagine your project has been divided into 4 different iterations. 4 iterations meaning that 3 months one iteration. For every 3 months they are going to move the code from development to QA, QA to UAT, UAT to live, mainly live. It will be moved to live, but there will be, your project will be divided in 4 iterations. Each iteration is going to have 3 months. Once in 3 months deployments will be done, but here you are going to have this 3 months as 3 into 2, that is equal to 6 sprints. It will be divided as 6 sprint. Usually a sprint time is 2 weeks. A sprint time is 2 weeks. That is for development, that is for testing, okay, and that is for moving into QA, whereas QA testing will happen, defect fixing as well. Okay, like this. See, your business requirements that you are going to get in JIRA tool, where the user stories that are going to be assigned to you in Scrum methodology, you have to work on finishing your business requirement, including development, defect fixing, testing, everything by the tester window also will be there. That is for 2 weeks. 2 weeks time will be allotted, means in 3 months you will be working on 6 sprints. In each sprint, you may work on 1 or 2 requirements depending on the length of the requirement that are going to be assigned to you. I mean to say, like user stories. In each sprint, you may work on 1 or more user stories depending on the length of the user stories and the time that it is going to take. So a sprint is 2 weeks time duration, where you will be working on development, unit testing will be done, it will be handed over to QA. QA will be doing the testing, and any defects you have to fix in the same sprint, and that is how it is going to proceed. And now, that is what about sprint. And here you go. See, the next one is sprint planning sessions. The next one is sprint planning sessions. Here you can see sprint planning sessions. This one is said to be sprint planning session. See, what are you going to do in the sprint planning session? See, here we may discuss about the future sprints. I told you, right, previously, backlogs, this is similar. Like the future business requirements. This week, this is the sprint. For this sprint, this is the one. And at the 3 months, once your all sprints for that iteration are being done, at the end of the 3 months, you may not be sitting idle. You may discuss about the future 6 sprints that we are going to get. Means the user stories related to future sprints also already been drafted and in place by the business analyst. So if you are working on 3 months, 6 sprints, the next 3 months, what are the 6 sprints that you have to work on will already be created by the business analyst. So that you will be discussing in the sprint planning sessions that we already referred as backlogs. Okay. And now sprint demo. See, every sprint developer has to explain what has been done. You can see here. In every sprint, developer has to explain about what is being done. See, the sprint begins, user stories are being assigned to you, and you are working on user stories. Let's say you have taken 3 days to finish your user story. It is moved from development to QA environment, and testers have tested. You got some defect, you fixed, everything is fine. So QA is also okay to proceed forward. Okay. See, before you move it to QA, once your development is done, you will be doing unit testing. Okay, you will be writing unit test cases and everything. See, your application functionalities that you have developed, everything you have to provide as a walkthrough. Okay, you have to provide as a walkthrough to the business analyst. So that is called as sprint demo. So for every sprint, once your development is done, the functionality results that you have got, you need to explain it to your team lead, your tech lead, and also business analyst. Business analyst is going to say that, yes, this is correct as expected, the behavior is move to QA environment, then you can move it to QA environment. So suppose if you did not do it as expected by the business, if you move to QA, that will be a big problem. That's why after 3 days of your development is done, you have to send an email to the business analyst saying that, and your tech lead and all, saying that my development is been done. I wanted to give a demo of my functionality output. Business analyst is going to join the call and join the video call, screen sharing sessions and all. They're going to see what you have developed. So they'll say that, okay, we are good to go ahead with this. You can move to QA. So this is not mandatory to be done in all the projects. Some projects, tech leads will be reviewing all this and say, okay to proceed forward. In some projects, business analysts also have to say, okay to proceed forward. So that is usually, sometimes it is optional. So now the next one is Scrum Master and Scrum meetings. See, your sprint planning sessions, and who is going to review all this JIRA? Apart from business analyst will make entry into JIRA, the business requirements and all, right? So who has to monitor to take the lead position? There will be someone called Scrum Master. Scrum Master is responsible for making all the people together into meeting. That meeting is called Scrum meeting. The Scrum Master is going to make sure every developer is going to finish the tasks on time, and the present tasks that are being done should be progressively being done as per the expected time or as per the allotted time. So if someone is lagging, Scrum Master has to ask other developer or tech leads to help him or to guide him in order to finish this task within the deadline without any escalations. So Scrum Master role is crucial, where Scrum Master get together all the teams, even if required testing team, developer team, everyone will join together. They discuss about what is happening and what has to be done in order not to miss the deadlines. So the too much hectic task is being a Scrum Master in the project. Okay, Anything you make mistake, no one will ask you from the business side. Scrum master will be questioned, your tech lead will be questioned. So than tech lead, Scrum master is responsible for all this stuff. Okay, so that is a little bit difficult job actually. And now after the Scrum master part, you can see status or stand-up calls. Status calls, or you call it as stand-up calls. So what is the status or stand-up calls that we call? See here, suppose you are been working on business requirements that are being assigned to you in a sprint. Sprint 1 started, you have taken some user stories, you are working on it. So by today evening, you should not leave so simply after your work is done. At the end of the day, you have to draft an email and send an email to your team, keeping your teammates in the CC or teammates in the loop, and you have to send an email to the business analyst. What is being done by end of today? What is still pending to do? And do you need any inputs from the business analyst? All this you have to send an email. But before you send an email, you will have a scheduled call. Usually in Scrum methodology, everyday stand-up calls will be there. That is, everyday stand-up calls. Usually, if you are working with if your onshore team is USA team, usually your stand-up calls will be between 6:30 a.m. or 6:30 p.m. IST to maybe 9 o'clock or 8:30 p.m. IST, because this is the time which is going to coincide. Suppose USA resources, they will be arriving to the office our evening time, and if we are leaving by 8 p.m., between 6:30 and 8 p.m. can be used as a time where we onshore and offshore teams can be collaborated in the discussions and all. And now if your project is from Australia client, then maybe afternoon time, India afternoon 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock will be your status or status calls or stand-up calls will be there. In the status call, every day you are going to explain what you have done for today and what is the output. Do you have any obstacles in implementing the business requirements? Do you have any dependency with other teams? What you have done, clearly you have to mention everything in the status call about the status of your business requirements and your development. Once you are done with the status call for half an hour or 1 hour, you need to send out an email what you have discussed in the status call about the same status. What you have told, you have to send as an email officially. And they will also give you some inputs during the status call. If you're missing somewhere, if you have any doubts, any questions, your tech leads or your Scrum master or your business analyst is going to give you some information about this in the status calls. Usually they will help you. Okay. And team meetings, see, this is different again. So Scrum meetings are stand-up calls or status calls. You can also call it as Scrum meetings, and team meetings is different. See, in the Scrum meetings or status calls, there is a possibility that business analyst will be there for sure. But in the team meetings are internal. Usually team meetings will happen in India time. If your project is in India and you are working in India, your time. If you are working in USA, your USA timing, afternoon time, like that it will happen. So in this, no business people will be joining. Means like from business side, no one will join. Your team will go ahead with discussions. So your team lead is going to usually lead these team meetings, and he will be asking the status of each and every one before you go to evening Scrum call. In the afternoon itself, you join a team meeting and you discuss. You make sure that nothing is a problem here before you go to stand-up call, and everyone is on the right track of providing the solutions in the given deadline times and all. And now in the team meetings, whatever that you are going to discuss related to your business requirement, the status, where you are, what you are yet to do, and what you are yet to do is called as action item. It is called as action item. Okay, so here I am done with in the requirement. Story point 2, 3 is been done. 1 I am waiting for some dependency from database team, and 4th one I have to start only once one is story point 1 is completed. This is my status that I have told in the team meeting. If your business, if your team lead can help you, okay, we don't need to wait for the database team, don't wait for the table. You take some test data and write all the steps by hard coding. Like if you retrieve a record from the database, you get a result, right? That result you hard code, consider you have retrieved it, and code everything. The template should be ready. Once the table is going to be available, if you're going to make some small change, your coding should be done. You don't wait for it. Like these suggestions your team lead is going to do to make sure that work will be done in a faster pace. Okay, so that's the task of the team lead. And if anything has to be done in future, as an action items that is going to be written. So now that is what your team meetings are going to happen usually offline within the teams, and where you will be discussing about the progress of the present business requirements that you are working and what is yet to be done. And there is something important called MOM. Let's say today we have joined team meeting 5 members. Out of the 5 members, person 1 is going to note down what is being discussed in the team meeting. That is called minutes of meeting. Minutes of meeting as a document you will discuss. After the meeting is been done, you send out this document to all the team members in an email. Suppose today person 1 has taken this MOM task this week, next week another person will take care. So like this, in a month 4 times, if in a month 4 times if you are going to join the team meeting, 4 different people will be taking the MOM, because every time one person doing this task will not be good. That's why. So MOM document will be prepared, minutes of meeting document, where this minutes of meeting document is going to have completed items and action items, and who has to do take the action and all. So completed items, who has completed what and all, and action items means future what has to be done, who has to do it, and what will be the deadline of this particular task to finish, and some other suggestions. Everything will be written, that whatever that has happened in the team meeting will be written in the MOM document. There will be a specific template that will be given to you by your team if you are a new joinee. So no need to bother about how to prepare the template of this document. So like this, your team meeting is going to happen, and whatever the discussion that is going to happen in the team meeting, you will prepare that as a document called minutes of meeting. Okay, thank you everyone for watching. I hope this has given you clear idea and information about all this, like backlogs, time log, requirement walkthroughs, sprints, sprint planning sessions, sprint demo, and Scrum Master role and Scrum meetings, status stand-up or Scrum calls, and team meetings, minutes of meeting. All this we have discussed in today's video. This video, what we have done today, is a continuation of 3 other videos which we have made in the past. That video links are also available when you are watching this video. If you have not watched previous 2 videos to understand about the previous technical terms, please go back and watch those videos. I hope you like the content. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe our channel. Post your questions in the comment section of the video if you are looking for any suggestions, or if you are looking for any career guidance, help and all. If you are attending interviews on Pega PRPC tool, post your interview questions or scenario based questions that you are facing while attending the interview in the comment section of the videos, so that we can provide you the best solution and will explain you in a better way how to crack the interviews in the future videos. Okay, so that's it from my end. Thank you for watching. Please wait for the next video, where we are going to cover about servers, defect management tools, defect and bug fixing, unit testing, test case review, peer review, staging, code review. So almost we'll finish up to 30th topic in the next video that we are going to do tomorrow itself. So once again, if you like the video content, don't forget to subscribe the channel and recommend this channel to your friends. Signing off, Harsha.